This was a fun one. Because I've been getting questions about this on my stream ever since I started streaming again. I think there was a lot of misinfo. There's a lot of people jumping to conclusions. And sometimes that just creates unnecessary drama that, like, straight up, we don't like. I mean, in the content creation space, we don't like it.
Done with add-ons. Only way you can take these
screenshots. The first part here is Mike's just dealing with some drama in the FF community. I don't think it's particularly relevant to what people have been saying, though.
And that's when the salt mine opened up. And rightfully so, I would say, because it was, again, unnecessary. And it just exposed these things like, hey, this might force them to crack down on it. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? This might force them to say, oh my god, you're actually doing this fun stuff with group photos and things like that. It's because we saw it again with Dragonflight Alpha. So let's clear this up, because
I have been getting so many questions about this. People saying, what is your reaction to Preach being snubbed? What is this? What is that? You know, there was a lot of anger. I'm just going to turn the BGM down a little bit. Goodbye, BGM.
If you've been even remotely in the sphere of World of Warcraft, you've probably heard about this, and you've probably seen the, I think now, 700-page threads, 700 comment threads, videos and stuff that have been made about this subject, which has been completely blown out of proportion. So obviously Dragonflight Alpha launched last week, and of course people were asking me if I had it. Of course they were. As soon as I started my stream, I was like, did you get in? Are you part of this? Is, you know, did Blizzard give it to you? If not, you must have been angry, right? No, I didn't get it. And I said, no, I don't have it. I'm not shocked, because the reality is, one, I didn't try to get in. I just...
So, that segment there, not trying to get in, I don't know if I only got in because I tried. I'll do this in a way that's like, you know, no naming names or anything, but I had to resupply my battle.net email address. So this whole situation, like, there are reasons that maybe believe that he wouldn't have got it because some people maybe were pissed off at him. That said, if they're pissed off at Mike, I mean, he has definitely been, I think, maybe a tad more professional than I've been in one or two instances during Shadowlands. But yeah, I had to provide my email, and I feel like if I didn't provide the email of my BNet account, then, you know, I probably wouldn't have got in, because I literally don't think they would have known my email address for my account. My personal suspicion is that in EU, they basically lost all their fucking data whenever the Versailles office went down. Not like literally all their data, like as a business, but things were lost between the cracks. Because post... see, yeah, Vina Campbell said, love Preach, but he keeps phrasing it like it wasn't automatically given to me. That's the thing. I would be the same as Mike, where it would have been automatically just in my account in the past. I mean, I would have checked in with a CM or something to be like, please, please. But in this case, yeah, my understanding anyway was that they needed to recollect information for people. So, let's continue.
Distance myself from there. I didn't try to get in. I obviously had no idea what Dragonflight was going to be like, and I didn't try to push it or anything like that. I wasn't expecting to get it. And I was kind of told by one of the people internally at Blizzard that after I said, look, they don't respect the player anymore, it feels like Blizzard resents the player. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, this is from the video titled An End of an Era when we stopped covering WoW. It feels like there's no respect for the players. It almost feels like Blizzard resents the players in a lot of ways. If that changes, I'll come and have a look. I'll come and check it out. It's not going to be WoW coverage, but...
So this is going to be fun.
Maybe. I'm never going to say never. I'll come and have a look. I'll come and check it out.
So, number one, he never said he was leaving the game forever. And this is a funny thing that happens. And I don't know if that happens to Mike specifically more than the rest of us, but people seem to get, like, inordinately furious at him. And now it could be that people get inordinately furious at me as well in the same way that they do at him, but I literally just don't see their comments because I don't really, you know, other than my Twitter account, I don't really use social media or read the forums or anything like that. But this is funny because if that is the thing that pissed off some of the Blizz people enough to be like, oh, Preach shouldn't get it. I mean, like, man, if you... So, here's the thing. What's actually on our Clips channel is generally pretty balanced. Now, what people choose to click on is maybe not as balanced. Let's just say that. You know, so we got Asmongold slams Blizzard. This is a major loss. Do they not understand? Unacceptable. Bellular goes off in Blizzard. What's going on? Ian's out of touch interview. I think that was actually with Preach. Bellular reacts to Preach, raging at WoW. The epidemic spreading through WoW. Players choosing to quit. What's next? WoW's numbers are dropping. Like, fuck me. Now, of course, if you were to sort this chronologically, you would find that, you know, the stuff's actually significantly more balanced throughout that channel. It's just, you know, people tend to just want to click on one sort of thing. But it's just, I thought that was interesting because, like, I remember calling the burning of Teldrassil an absolute fisting of a narrative whenever it came out. And I've, like, I mean, I have been on fucking attack mode because, like, here's the thing. This statement...
Have a look. I'll come and check it out. It's not going to be... Wow.
Okay, the bit about, you know, respect for the players.
The players. It almost feels like...
Yeah.
Video titled An End of an Era when we stopped covering WoW. It feels like there's no respect for the players. It almost feels like Blizzard resents the players.
Like, not only have I said I agree with that, I've said that I believe it's true before. So I wonder if it's just that because Mike has a place in like Race to World First or any stuff like that, that maybe people like take his word on that like more seriously. But it's just weird. Like there's a decent number of WoW devs who seemingly I've offended enough that they've blocked me on Twitter, which is like, it's fine. I don't really give a shit. But the thing is, the community people, like, they, they've never been like that. They've always been fucking super dead on to me, and that's always just, it's like a different side of the company, right? So I wonder, I wonder what went on. I wonder what he heard. It's funny, there's I've also heard like one or two times, there's people in the company who really, really, really do not like me. But then equally, I continually hear of people in the company who are like, oh, hey, yeah, we love your videos. Thanks. You're sort of speaking up for the 30 or 40% of, people in the team who end up not winning the argument. And it's like, interesting. I mean, because when you hear the whole, oh, they're out of touch. They resent the players. In those BFA and Shadowlands periods, you have to remember that there was not complete consensus on that team. There was in no way was there complete consensus on that team. There's a lot of people probably having to implement stuff that they, had disagreements with or whatever. Which, like, look, you're a professional. You got to do that. But yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, if it was the case that we both said similar things about the game, but like Mike gets in more trouble than me, then like that would be really weird. But the whole feedback thing is always interesting. I mean, certainly what either me or Mike have said about the game, if we were Total War YouTubers, I mean, Creative Assembly would have us, or I think it's more Sega than them, but like we would be out the door so fucking quick. It's so easy to get in that Total War blacklist.
I know you probably didn't watch it, but are still angry about it. You should watch it because it'll make more sense as to what the hell is going on here.
I'll come and have a look.
So in there we said we'd only ever come back and have a look at WoW if they changed those aspects, because that's how I felt the game had gone for a long time. It was just mandatory stuff, chores all the time, just forcing you down roads whether you wanted to or not, with a cattle prod saying, well, if you don't want to have like power, then you have to you have to run on our hamster wheel. And it wasn't fun, and it just went that way for years and years. They were pigeonholing people with covenants and things like that. All that kind of stuff was happening. Now,
like, what was really frustrating, I know it was frustrating to him, it was frustrating to me as well, it was like the constant feedback. Like, there's even aspects of feedback provided in the Legion expansion that, that were prophetic of things in the future. God, I'm even just thinking about the feedback on Legion Legendaries and where all of that just went. But it's like consistently, I remember like shortly before Shadowlands Alpha, you know, I have a video about confidence, similar stuff around BlizzCon, and I think it was just a sheer feeling of like frustration and almost despair that like they were so, like almost so heart set on going in what really seems like the least probability of success route for development. And I think that was just, that's where a lot of the frustration came from. And I think, I mean, it happened for both of us, obviously for the community.
Oh, Dragonflight seems to be a complete 180 on that. After like 5 years, I would say Legion, they kind of got lucky. It started rough and then they fixed it up. And then after that, it went in a different way. We're not going to go into too much detail on that. There's, you know, hundreds of videos I've made on that. But Dragonflight looks like a complete 180. So I was like...
So, is that a statement that I agree with? Because there's a lot of doomers in the various chats. Here's the thing, because you guys can't see the dislikes anymore. You see on clips, whenever I publish a clip that's like, oh, I'm excited about dragon riding, here's a cool new thing, or, you know, here's just a cool thing, whatever. It's like 80% likes, 20% dislikes. And on YouTube, like, if your likes to dislikes are below 95, people are pissed. Like, that's how it works. And it's weird because liking a single, and this is the thing, and I imagine it probably is what ends up pissing off Mike about some of these situations, and perhaps why people read into his situation in Alpha like so much and got so furious. People have like very binary thinking, you know? It's like they could see someone who is critical of World of Warcraft, has consistently been for years, and then talk about really thinking that the dragon riding is fun and is one of the best things they've put in the game in like 20 years. And then, you know, what are the reasonable things to assume there? So it's like, assumption number one. He's completely 180'd on everything he thought, and he's a fucking shill. Apparently that is almost more likely for people who are willing to comment and I suppose be the vocal minority, than it is to say, oh, person who's critical of the game actually just likes that new feature, which is significantly more likely. So, have they 180'd? In terms of some aspects of their development process, yeah. Yeah, they have. They have. We did not get nearly the amount of engagement, because, like, I've been in alphas. I mean, technically, I was in the Cataclysm beta. I wasn't in the Mists one. And then as a content creator, I've been in every single alpha or beta since Warlords of Draenor. And I can definitely tell you, like, this is the one they've been the most active on. Like, so here's, you know, here's the Hunter feedback thread. Posts from the Blues explaining their thoughts. You know, some hunters were talking about True Shot, saying, True Shot, we think it could be more powerful. And Blizzard saying, well, we don't really see it as that. But explaining it properly, because the more powerful True Shot is, then everything outside of the True Shot window has to be less powerful, and then suddenly you're in a more Demon Hunter-like situation where, you know, you're not in meta and you feel a bit weak. So, this is great. And we're consistently seeing this, consistently seeing that iteration. Even the thing in the Drakthir Visage, you know, they gave a response pretty quick. Shamans are only just in as of the most recent build, and, you know, already, yeah, we got them in sort of explaining a few things. So I'm not, you know, I can't tell you that the expansion itself is going to be a 180 in the past, but I think it's fair to say that a lot of their development approach is very different. Even the way that they're doing this very much more focused testing. I mean, the last time I think they did focus testing like that is whenever they did just a few things with Legion, when they really knew they needed it because of the class revamps.
Cool. You know, Ian was doing some fantastic interviews and talking about it. So the day Alpha came, I was kind of... the thing that got me in trouble was saying I'm still kind of pissed about it, which is a very, very, as most people realize, again, we're talking about this very tiny percentage of people who don't get this. But yeah, I was like, fuck. Yeah, I'm still kind of pissed about it. I have no right to be. I have absolutely no right to feel that way, but I did. And that's what I said. Is like I was being honest with my audience, as I always am. It's easier for me, who's on camera and recording my audio 12 to 15 hours a day.
12 to 15 hours? And you give people the 1 second they'll go fucking insane and crazy at you for? Yep, that's the online. Man's had more than his fair share of Emerald Champion threats.
Regularly, it's easier if you just tell the truth because then you don't have to remember lies. Like, that's how I look at it. It's like, why would I bother lying? So I told the truth. I was like, yeah, although I didn't expect to get it, I was kind of told I wasn't going to get it. I still feel kind of pissed about it, but whatever, we'll move on with it. And that was it. But that clip is about, I don't know, 15 seconds long or something. Shitstorm everywhere. And it was again this salty tribalism that kicked off. Is like being a traitor to a video game is fucking stupid. Absolutely fucking stupid. That's like being a traitor to Coca-Cola. What are you doing? Honestly, you absolute maniacs. Like, what are you doing? He left us. He left us. Yeah, I wasn't having fun anymore in a video game. Yeah, I left you. Sorry.
What's really funny is they're probably the people who screeched to leave. Asmongold Reddit, Asmon and Bellular, WoW shill now, paid from Blizzard. I want Preach to criticize the alpha. There you go.
Like, it's so bizarre. The fucking madness that came out of this. And I will link the thread so you can go and have a read. The worst part about it is none of it was true.
Oh my god, he's
and that makes all this kind of stuff really hard to deal with.
It's not there.
For us. Well, it doesn't actually. It makes it easy. We just ignore it because there's no way of winning with that. I even had people on Twitter, which was, again, hundreds and hundreds of tweets about this.
You meant to say, have I used WoW and Blizzard's product for promote myself as an entertainer and made millions from that process of using WoW as a platform, then made millions more from other games I play to bash WoW? That person has no idea what YouTube pays. I mean, maybe this is a number that you'll think's low. Like, in terms of AdSense, like the WoW channel brought in, it was like a little while ago, it was like there and abouts, like between 10 and 15 grand a month. That's of course USD. And then, there's multiple staff. So if you ever wonder why I talk about Patreon, memberships, sponsors and videos, it's like you actually need that because YouTube basically does not pay. So that people can be, like, it's just fucking hilarious that people can be in a headspace where they think that, like, he is just fucking Scrooge McDuck floating in massive, just big puddles of money. No, it does not work that way. It does not work that way. Not at our level, right? Not at our level. We are smaller. We are a lot smaller than, maybe a Shroud or, I would say Shroud. I actually don't know that many streamers, but, the absolutely, like, humongous streamers where, they log in and, they do an event and they make, like, 1 million in 2 days. Like, that's just madness. And absolutely nothing close to what your average WoW person's kind of going to be.
Where, like, I said...
Not order of magnitude, like multiple orders of magnitude.
I didn't try and get it. I didn't do anything, because I've never had to in the past. If I was ever getting into an alpha, it appeared. That's it.
Yep,
it simply appeared. And therefore, we didn't do anything about it at all. We just left it be. I haven't followed the internals of Blizzard for a while, besides what's been in the news. I am a part of the Content Creators Discord, but I don't check there very often, because those guys are usually chatting about all kinds of different things that I'm not interested in. It might be pet battles. It might be what's going on in Zereth Mortars, which I'm not playing. So I have it muted. Because, I'm not going to follow that stuff right now. I'm not going to check that. I'll wait for some big announcement like an alpha coming. So anyway, this salt mine, this tribalism, very directed against me, was interesting because it was nonsense. Like, we'd never play WoW again. People who believe that if you stop covering a game on YouTube, then you should never touch the game again. It's kind of weird.
That's it. It's ones or zeros. Ones or zeros. 15k a month. I make only a little more than that yearly. Remember, we have a team. I mean, the game dev studio and here it's like, total's like 17 people. So we do need to bring in quite a lot of beans in order to literally keep the lights on.
I haven't played WoW.
Like, I imagine I'm a similar enough situation to, like, I don't know with Mike, but I kind of assume the vast majority of money goes basically into wages for staff here. A bit like with, like, Linus Tech Tips as an example. Like, I'm sure though there's a way that Linus could probably get rid of, like, most of the team and make very simple, cheap content and, you know, he could become a like influencer person, like instead of kind of like, you know, running the big team and doing all the cool projects. And that would make Linus significantly more money personally, in terms of like actual liquid instead of just paper worth, because he owns the company. But evidently it's like Linus wants to do cool shit. That's what it's there for. It's not for, you know, I don't know, fucking Lambos and weird rich people shit.
WoW for a while. I played raiding with my friends. I'd said in that video, again, if you didn't watch it, I did say in the video I was still playing WoW, and we haven't covered World of Warcraft on any sort of regular basis on the YouTube channel for a while, which is what we said we would do. And we're not going back to that either. I'm not going to be doing it. Some people actually in my community were very thankful for this explanation, so maybe I can make it. But we're saying we're not covering WoW anymore.
Water, yeah.
Think about every single alpha and beta since time immemorial. Well, basically since Cataclysm, although I did test the game beforehand, we made class guides or class looks on every single class spec in the game, every single dungeon, all the new things, what's happening with the systems. We would pump out something like 3 or 4 videos a day and had an entire team behind the scenes working on different areas of the game.
Oh yeah, like Frankenberry, like this is the video where he announced like, oh no, I do have alpha, don't worry, it's all chill. But it's more the like, you know, crazy madness that's been going on.
Giving their impressions, experts on their classes and specs. We did this for Shadowlands, right? We had Shadow Priest experts, Rose experts, DK experts, all looking at these things, feeding back into us, and then paying them for doing that, right? To provide that coverage so everybody had an understanding of what was going on. Because I was under no illusions I don't know every single in and out of every class. That was what we did for a long time, and then we essentially made a WoW video every single day for literally years.
Oh, the grind. That's what it is. I mean, like, even, you know, in terms of how we're trying to change things up. And I guess we're lucky because we make, like, different content. Because doing that for Mike would mean he has every single class geared, max level, class guides, every single patch. Like, you know, very gameplay-oriented content. Whereas for us, we're able to take more of a, like, production-friendly approach and more of a sort of a larger team-based approach in... well, like in, you know, lore content and stuff like that, where like now those are, you know, multiple people and like a team sort of creation.
And we stopped doing that. We're not covering, not playing anymore, not having fun with it anymore, not doing that anymore. Does this mean we're coming back to Dragonflight? No, I don't know anything about Dragonflight, but what I can say is after this whole debacle kicked off and people were kicking off, it was Blizzard who reached out to us, which was great. Blizzard reached out to us because they could see what was going on. And they were a little surprised that we had any interest at all. Because, of course, from Blizzard's perspective, why would we be interested in the alpha? And so they said, can we have a meeting? Like professionals. And one thing they pointed out in this tribalism war is that we understand you're not responsible for any of this. And I was like, thank God. This was the best part, is they're going like, yeah, we know it's not you. We understand that there's a very tiny portion of the player base that is very angry at stuff, even if it's completely untrue.
Community are solid. That's the one thing I've always been able to say. Community team is so fucking solid. They get it.
But let's sit down and have a conversation. Let's do that. Let's sit down and have a conversation. So I was like, of course, let's do that. And I did that. I sat down with their community team for an hour or so, where we kicked around like, look, we're trying to, you know, from Blizzard's point of view, we need to repair some bridges because there's been mistakes made. Right? Shadowlands was in the toilet. Like it or not, it was. It was in the toilets. Nothing we predicted and got angry about did not come to pass. There'll be people who love Shadowlands. That's fantastic. But overall, in the bigger picture, not good. Not.
Could you imagine if they pulled that ripcord? Could you imagine if they pulled that ripcord? That ripcord that supposedly existed? Could you imagine? Like, if Shadowlands launched the way that it like is now in 9.2.5. Oh, that'd be hilarious. I mean, it still would have been a fucking narrative disaster, but at least the game mechanics wouldn't have... Yeah, I mean, hey, look, at least they didn't launch it where the conduits were consumable. Not that that would have been like... It probably wouldn't have ended up being extremely, extremely annoying. It's just it was such a transparently daft design that you'd wonder why they'd even embark on it in the first place.
Not good. And a lot of the stats and who's doing what in World of Warcraft were like, WoW TVC is considerably more popular than Shadowlands. That's what happened. It's like, look, we're trying to repair these bridges. We're trying to sort out what's going on. We would like you to have the alpha. So we'll sort that out for you so you can check it out and have a look, see what you think. And I was like, awesome, that sounds really fun. It was very professional, it was very nice. And then we talked about a great number of other subjects, which we'll talk about in the future. Because I haven't played Dragonflight yet, I actually have other commitments first. But we talked about another number of projects in the future, which was really cool, about things that's better utilizing community interaction, getting the community more involved, getting voices heard, which they're doing really well with right now. But after that, I said this in the meeting. It's like, look, you're going to give me the alpha. Obviously, I do want to play it, so I will be checking it out on stream and seeing what it's like, because you seem to be going in the direction I hoped you would go in. That was the point, right? I said I would come back. If you don't know, this is also in the same video. I would come back if it looked like you were respecting the player again, if you weren't resenting the player. And so far, that seems to be what's happening. There's no ludicrous grind that's required, no mandatory. None of that going on. So yeah, we'll probably come and have a look, see what's going on with it. And if I don't like it, I'll let you know. But we won't go on like a hit piece or rampage or anything like that, because I have no interest in that. I have no interest in doing that. If it's good, we'll probably say something. I'll probably just give a fair and balanced review at some point. It'll probably be a video or a couple of videos. That's it. That's what we're looking to do. I'm not looking to do feedback. I will try everything, but I'm not looking to do the library of videos and things. And that's because that's going backwards in where we're at, and we're more successful now than ever. YouTube has been let down, I understand that, and me and Chris are working to resolve that.
Yeah, like the commitment that it takes to actually do that coverage in depth is so fucking much. And I mean, I'm not exactly sure what he's doing on stream right now, but everything comes at the cost of something else, right? Time's the ultimate enemy. So yeah, it's like doing class guides. You know, in the past I probably would have done that. I just kind of don't really feel it right now, because we're less reliant going crazy in one thing, you know? We do the news channel, we do fun little side projects, the gaming channel, we do the live shows, and it's like, because of that, it's just like, we can be more chill about it, I suppose. I don't have to go all try-hard mode about things anymore, and that's like really good for your quality of life. You know, not feeling the pressure to create this humongous library of, you know, every spec, every class, everything. And it just means you can be more freed up to actually be more creative and make shit that you just end up enjoying more, really.
With the rest of the team. But in general, we're doing better than ever. And we're happy with where we are, and we want to do that. But looking at this Sol, I mean, it's so easy to not be ignorant. That's what's crazy about this tribalism. We'll come back to the tribalism side of it, of how protective and how soul-bound people are to companies and products and things like that, despite what it's like, is so weird.
Identity. It's identity, right? In the past, I don't know, did people have, did people have more of a sense of community that was not based on intellectual property? Probably, right? Like, before that, IP was so strong. And sure, they probably had lower quality of lives, you know, less access to all the good shit. Like, so I'm not sitting here trying to say, oh, 300 years ago it was better for everyone. Not at all. But, like, I don't know, in the past, was it maybe, like, you know, church? And I mean, a lot of people fucking obviously took that to a very bad place. Well, you know what I mean, right? It's like, in the dearth of community, because like society gets so big, people even, you know, live in cities instead of like, you know, the village where they know people and all that stuff. And you know, where are you looking for meaning? Well, entertainment products. So then, like, a lot of your meaning making comes from entertainment products, you know? I mean, I think it's particularly large in the US. I think it happens here too, you know, where it's like, where maybe in the past somebody just would have been more into, I mean, you could even say, you know, religion or patriotism or something. You know, now it's superhero franchise, you know, Marvel or DC. You know, the people who make those fan accounts that are like so branded that it's like, whoa, that's... I hope you do other things when you log off Twitter, please. But I think that's what it is. You know, it's identity. People, you know, so it's not just like, oh, that guy in Manchester's not playing WoW anymore. I enjoyed his WoW content. Well, that's a shame. Maybe I'll check out the next thing he's doing. Oh, it's not that. It's not that at all. It's, they've left the fucking tribe. He has violated the integrity of the tribe. Because Mike has left the tribe, now the tribe is weaker. Now people won't respect our tribe. This is where I get my meaning from. And that's just how it goes, right? Yeah. People are fucking mental on the internet.
It's so weird to read how entrenched people are with the company. I understand for a lot of people it may have changed their lives at some point, got them out of depression. It may have been something they coped with during serious illness. May have got them out of some dark time in their life. May have been the happiest moments of their life. I agree. WoW has some of the happiest moments of my gaming life, for sure, has happened in World of Warcraft, without question. But when that thing turns sour on you, which it did for me over BFA and Shadowlands, then not eating that thing anymore is fine. It's totally fine. And dealing with this, all I would say to these guys and this tribalist mentality of bandwagoning onto something and then being like, okay, I'm in this box now, and we go full choo-choo ahead, ignoring inconvenient things like facts or actually checking sources, which was a big thing that happened over both the Billboard situation and with the Dragonflight Alpha situation with myself, was...
See, here's the thing, Deadfishy, like, did he make a big deal over leaving? Or did he make a video saying, hey, I'm leaving, here is our plans, given that we're fundamentally changing our content? Did he make that a big deal? Or did everybody else make it a big deal by assigning significance to it? All right? Because that's when people are treating an influencer or somebody not really as a person, but as a figurehead whose moves are symbolic. And that's the difference. That's the difference in perception.
That nobody checked. The angriest people never checked anything. They read a news article which obviously designed to clickbait people. That's what news articles do, especially from random websites, right? You can Google...
That was so funny. I remember seeing it's like, esports news today, all these headlines about Blizzard snubbed Preach. And that's just happened in general. Some of them, they actually just like farm out this outrage shit. As for the tribalism thing, Brian, it happens. Like, yeah, man, sometimes you read comments and it's like, oh boy, are you okay? No, there is a strong tribalism, all the people who, just get like so furious. Like in the FF thing, when some of us were playing FF and we generally all still do play FF, they got so furious. It was insane.
Google my name and leaving WoW, and you'll find some really extreme articles about it where they take out a sentence or two and twist it into a context. The same as a reality TV show does, right? They film for 24 hours. It's mostly dog shit fucking boring, but they manipulate it so that somebody seems like an absolute arsehole, whoever the producers pick. They manipulate it so that this girl seems really timid, even though actually she's fine. She's totally capable of looking after herself in all ways. But in the video clips they show, it's like, she backed down there. It's like, oh my God, right? She's so weak and frail. Oh, this guy's such a pussy, right? All that kind of stuff happens in those shows. And it's the same thing with these articles. And you've got to pull yourself out of that.
That's what everything works on, right? Like fucking TikTok, just instead of the producers sifting it through. Instead of the producers sifting through that, it's now the algorithm sorting it based on people's reactions. Everything's a fucking hyper-reality. And I think some people get humongously caught up in that bullshit.
Especially when the information is readily available. And that's where it gets really weird. The information is readily available, that you can just go and check yourself. And I know, and look, I obviously focused more on the Dragonflight Alpha because that was personally targeted at me than the Billboard stuff, which is still fun to check out, by the way. But my End of an Era video, where we said we're not covering WoW anymore, is still online to this day. It has never been changed, it's never been edited, it's never been manipulated, and I am beholden to that. As somebody who's on camera recording my audio for all those hours every single day of my life for the last, 8 years or 9 years, I'm beholden to it. You can grab my literal lines and throw them at me and say, this is what you talked about in this video, this is what you said, right? In context. You can say, look, you can watch this whole video, you can see that you said this and stuff. But none of that has happened this time, and it's such a clear example of taking what you want to hear and just going crazy with it. So my conclusion...
I think the thing there is, people are a rationalization machine, right? So is their brain primarily trying to seek out new information? No. What the brain is doing is it's trying to incorporate new information into its current view without changing its current view. And that is why context gets lost. meaning gets lost, and everything turns into tiny little sound bites that are just useful to help segments of tribes rationalize. It's pretty brutal.
Conclusion to this video is like, pull yourselves out of that, especially when you can just check yourself. Pull out. And if something's made you really angry and you're just reading a comment on Reddit or reading it on a forum or something like that, and then you're saying that is gospel, no. Come on, man, do better than that. Do better than that. It's just somebody says this has cost us like $25,000, like in the case of the billboard. Oh, it must have cost them that because that's what it costs in California or whatever. And then the guy comes out and says, well, it only cost us like $15. But this guy is a known liar. Like, you have to bear all these things in mind. There's nuance to it. There's all these characterizations of it. And if you
there's like drama over a billboard for the event that they did and like add-ons and stuff. It was like the whole sort of first segment of the video. Again, it's like every game has their fans who just take it too far.
In my example, Preach will never touch World of Warcraft ever again and is abandoning ship because of the allegations. No, that's not what I said at all. In that same video, the allegations were what was the final straw. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, now this is happening? Right, okay, we're pulling away from this. We're taking a break. And then clearly talk about if we come back, it'll be because these changes have happened to the game. But that's the straw that broke the camel's back. It's not the weight that was piled on the camel's back. It was just another thing in the quagmire that happened to it. And you can see all that for free. So that's the situation. That's where we're at. And this tribalism shit has got to stop. And it never will.
Ain't that it? Ain't that it? You can't have an opinion anymore because I mean, you can have an opinion. It's just, it comes with the knowledge that, you're gonna, that there's gonna be a headache from it. And, if the headache, like, made sense and was worth it, then, yeah, like, I guess, sure. But it's just the sort of thing where it's like, oh, the dragon riding is fun. I had the audacity, right? The audacity to say that this was actually kind of fun. This shit. And instantly, there was just this cadre of people who were furious. And I know that, like, because I could track, whatever the likes and dislikes were coming in the video, they hadn't actually seen any of the dragon riding yet. They were already making their... Oh, yeah, this will be super loud. Hang on. They were already, like, making their, their fury known. And it's like, I know by the timestamp of their comment and stuff that it's literally impossible. Literally impossible for them to have, to actually know what's going on. Yeah, sorry about the volume. That was fixed a little while ago. The sort of thing, because of the delay, yeah, you know how it is. Anyway, consider it whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Some of their dragon riding effects are pretty damn crazy. But yeah, anyway, it was just a funny little thing that I noticed. And I think it's beginning to melt away. I think it's beginning to melt away with Dragonflight. Because, now people are seeing, like, oh, Preach mentions... Actually, some things do look really good about how this alpha is going. Asmongold mentions, enjoying parts of it. So slowly over time, people are, I think, going to come around. But it is very interesting just, how stuck in ways people are.